Actually, while I'm waiting, I think I see some new names. I can't see everyone, but if you're new to this group, welcome. Here's what we do every day, just for a few minutes. We get together and we flex our positivity muscles. So what I mean with that is, gratitude, mindfulness, mm, presence. These are all skills that we can get better at if we practice them. And I think we both sort of instinctively know that they're helpful in terms of our mental state and sort of how we flow through life. And then there's also this amazing body of research these days where we know for a fact that practicing these skills helps with our mood and sort of our default mode network in terms of how we approach life. So um, today's theme is demands versus requests. And let me sort of define the distinction here, and then we'll do a practice where we hopefully bring some awareness to how this shows up in our life. So demands are when we ask for something, so either verbally or physically, however we communicate with another person, we're wanting them to do something, either implicitly or explicitly. And if they don't comply, we threaten them with some kind of blame, punishment, or negative consequences. So, um, in other words, we infuse the ask with a kind of morality that we impose upon the other person. So we have a sense of, well, if you liked me or if you were going to comply with me, then you would do this. There's sort of right, wrong thinking. There's good, bad, should, shouldn't. All of that stuff is sort of infused in a demand. And in contrast, a request is when we're genuinely open to the other person saying no. So an example there would be, hey, will you help me clean up the kitchen? And my partner then says, no, I don't want to do that right now, or maybe I'll do that later. If there's any part of me that doesn't respond to their no with respect and an openness, maybe a curiosity to saying, oh, really? Why not now? Why later? But if there's some sense of like, oh, you always or you never, every time I ask for it, you don't want to do it. Now it's turning into a demand. And in my experience, when we go from if we can maintain a sense of openness and staying in a place of requests, then we can flex our empathy and it doesn't mean that we just roll over and say, oh, okay, you said no, so therefore I'm not going to keep advocating for myself. But the way we advocate for ourselves is maintains a sense of, sort of mutuality in terms of how, whether or not the other person's reasons for not wanting to comply or do what I'm asking them to do, whether they're valid and whether we respect them or not, versus trying to make them feel guilty or badly or shaming them and so on. So let's try to put that into practice and just see what comes up for us as we reflect on our own request and demand energy. So start by closing your eyes. I'll just spend a couple of minutes just dropping into here in this moment right now. Just noticing breath coming and going, noticing the body taking up space, seat on the ground. Most of you are probably sitting. And however you find the body in this moment, just notice. This is what it's like to inhabit a body that's breathing. That's thinking. That's sensing. And if there's any part of your experience of this moment that you feel should be different, we can enter this doorway of demand versus request, right? So we can notice that there may be a subtle demand energy there that says, well, my body should be feeling differently, or I should be able to be more still than I am. Whatever you find there, just notice if there's any right, wrong, good, bad, See if you can ease into it just being the way it is, just accepting it, accepting the busy mind. Maybe there's some aches and pains in the body. Just noticing this is how it is right now. And we can deliberately use our mind's ability to remember and drop into a memory that you have where you were interacting with another person. You were asking them for something. You were hoping they would do something. Could be just having a conversation or helping you with a physical task of some sort. And it didn't go the way that you wanted it to. They didn't show up and say 100% yes, I want to do exactly what you're asking me to do. See if you can bring up a memory along those lines. And then really feeling into that memory. Like, where were you? What was going on for you in that moment? So what is it that you were asking this person to do? Could be a personal relationship or a business relationship, or even a stranger. You're walking into a store and you're having some questions about something. Doesn't really matter. And see if you can empathetically sort of feel into their resistance to what it is that you were asking of them. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we're just sort of dropping into noticing, oh, they're not wanting to do what I just asked them to do. And then notice the thoughts, notice the beliefs, notice your mindset as it relates to their disinterest or their outright resistance to what you were asking of them. How's that affecting you? Especially notice the thoughts and the beliefs that pop up. It might be something along the lines of, oh, here they go again. They never, they always. In other words, there's a part of us that is demanding that they do what we want them to do, what we ask them to do. Just get in touch with that part of you. So then the first step is to simply acknowledge that they don't want to do what I want them to do. Just accept it. And doesn't mean you give up asking. The first step is really just to have that awareness of, they have a different idea of how they want this to go. And then from that place, see if you can get curious about why they might be resisting or saying no. What's going on for them? This is not a good time for them. Do they feel like we're asking too much of them? Maybe it's an inappropriate request as far as they're concerned. Maybe it's just inconvenient and they just don't feel like doing it. And can we make space for that? Just soften into their experience. Maybe even admitting to ourselves that we have no idea what's going on for them. The tables were turned and I were them and they were you, given what's going on in their life. Maybe them saying no and not wanting to do what we're asking them makes perfect sense. Doesn't mean we like it, but we can kind of understand on some level that, okay, so the shift from demand energy to request energy is requests are infused with some degree of curiosity and allowing and an openness to whatever's going on for them. And we can either ask again or get curious. Is there a different time that this would be convenient for you? Is it that you just categorically don't want to do what I'm asking you to do? Like, what's going on for you that you're not interested in doing what I'm asking you to do? The real test for a request is, can we move beyond simply tolerating their no and really embrace it as, okay, this is what makes sense to them? And in an ideal world, we find a yes that makes sense to them and a yes that makes sense to me. And that's really the ideal scenario. We make a request, we negotiate, and then both parties say, yes, sounds great. So, what would it take for you to get to that place? Of course, depending on the subject matter or the person, this can be really charged. We can very quickly drop into this eye rolling, resistant, sort of demand energy. It takes a little bit of effort to stay open, stay curious, and see if we can continue to advocate for what we want, but also look for the wholehearted yes on their part. And take a deep breath in, long, slow exhale through the mouth. And so if this was a stressful memory, you can just shake it off, shake out your hands, just let it go with the exhale and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale, slow exhale through the mouth, letting go of any baggage or residual tension that may have come from that memory, just moving past it. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. We're out of time. I feel like I could have kept on going for this one for a while. Um, yeah, my hope is that this sort of raises your awareness around as you go through the rest of your day. Are you demanding? Are you requesting? Just see where you're coming from and how other people respond to sort of shifting your intention to more of a request energy. Hope that was helpful. Take care, everyone.